Hi y'all, Beats Motel here, back with another video, so please check in, sit down, relax, and enjoy the video. Just wanted to kind of let y'all know I did land on the big series that I'm going to be focusing on this year, coming up 2024. As you can tell here by this huge stack of books, and it doesn't include the first book, I am going to be deep diving into the world of Malazan, Book of the Fallen. So kind of a little background with this series. I have read the first book. It's been a couple years since I've read it. I bought the whole series all at once, planning on kind of deep dive into it, never got into it. I tried reading it once before, couldn't get into it, and then I read it, and that was probably 5 years ago. Then I read this book a couple years ago. Like I said, so I have read the first one. I have not read past page 100, I think, in the second book here, Dead House Gates. But this is just a series that I've been wanting to read for probably going on 5-6 years since I've heard about it. It's such a deep series to read, not only lengthwise. I mean, as you can see here, some of these books number, and the last book alone was 1,200 pages almost, give or take. And I don't think that's the biggest one. I think Toll of the Hounds is the biggest book. But this is just a series that I want to deep dive into. This is one I've heard you kind of, and after reading the first book, from what I can kind of remember, and that's the thing. The reason why I'm starting over with book one is because I do remember some things about this, but I hear every time you reread this series, you kind of pick up things a little better. I remember very, very much enjoying my first read of this. It's a daunting series to read. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's what I keep hearing. It's a daunting series. What I'm kind of thinking I may do is start off book one. I'm sure will probably take me. I'm gonna try to do book one, kind of play it year by year, month by month, if you will. I think the first 3 could probably get through in a month. After that, especially as we get to Bone Hunters, I'm thinking that's going to probably be a couple months is what I'm going to give myself to read that. This is a series I don't want to fly through. I want to take my time and enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't want to take 6 months to read a book. I want to get through it. So that's kind of what the plan is to deep dive into this. As far as that goes, I'm still going to keep on with some of the other series I talked about reading, but this is going to be the big main one for 2024. I may start a little early on this. I'm going to try not to, but this. I cannot wait to dive into this. I'm kind of hoping, and I know the Malazan fandom and community, I've heard some mixed things, which I'm going to go with positive and hope that you're not going to spoil anything. And if I have any questions that y'all may be willing to answer, even if you don't follow the channel, if I pose a question, please go down. I know people probably search lots of videos about Malazan, even those that read the series. Go to some of my later videos, and if I may have a question, please answer it. I won't, unless it's something that will spoil it. I won't. This is something I want to talk about. I want to talk about with other people. My wife is not a fan of the fantasy sci-fi genre of books, if you will. So this is kind of just going to be a me undertaking it. One thing I do kind of wish, and I may have to look into while I'm also looking, I want to get maps. And I've seen some people talk about how they've annotated and highlighted. Excuse me. If you can't tell, we don't do any edits to these videos. They've annotated and highlighted names and things they think that are important. Please, if you've done that and if it's helped you, comment at the bottom. Let me know. Again, I want to get as much out of this series as I possibly can. I'm not planning on kind of doing the side series by Ian Esselmont, I think is his name. If I'm saying it wrong or pronouncing it wrong, please be patient with me. Like I said, I can't wait. I am so excited to really start to dig into this series. Again, if you have any thing that won't spoil it, any tips or anything like that, please let me know down below. I mean, I've known some people that have read the Lord of the Rings and the Middle Earth books as far as, just the histories, and they've annotated and all that, and it's helped them. I've never been one to kind of do that, but if y'all think that has helped you, or any of, again, if you have any tips, please let me know in the comments. I'm so excited to read this. I know that a lot of people start this and don't finish it, and I know that this is one that it will take its time. And I know there's probably gonna be some people that are asking, well, have you deep dived into the fantasy genre? I've read The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I've tried probably 5 times getting into The Wheel of Time, and I cannot seem to get in the first book. I don't know why. Knowing that, some of y'all are probably thinking, well, why are you deep diving into the PhD, if you will, of fantasy genres? I take it as a challenge. This series sounds interesting to me, and I take it as a challenge. I want to be able, I have a feeling if I read this, then I can go to Wheel of Time and say, you know what, this is nothing. That's, by that I mean, it's not as much to have to remember. I know there's still a lot to remember in that, but that's kind of my hope with the series, again, is to get a lot out of it. Again, if you have any tips or anything, if you have, obviously I don't want anything spoiled, but if you have like a website where I can print out a list of names for the books, for each book, and kind of highlight it, and check each name, obviously, please let me know any tidbit that you can give me as far as what helped you get through the series. I want to know. And if you've kind of been on the fence about reading this series and you're not sure, please read along with me. If you have the book, I have all 10 here, and then I have the first 3 on my Kindle. As I go along with each book, I will buy them and put them on my Kindle. But if you've kind of been on the fence, please jump in, read this with me. Let me know. I feel like that's something that will help not only myself, but anybody else out there that's kind of on the fence about it. Having someone to kind of bounce ideas off of with this as you read it, I think that could help quite a bit. And I'm probably being a little selfish by saying that, and I may not comment a whole lot, but I'm interested in kind of finding a community that loves a book series as much as this one. I mean, I know the Wheel of Time has it. Every series has their fandom, but I don't hear a whole lot, which is crazy to me about Malazan, and I'm sure part of it is that people don't want to spoil the series, and I'm sure that's part of it. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. But again, if y'all think annotating, highlighting, let me know. Like I said, I don't see a whole lot of tips on reading this. I mean, you could go on YouTube, and I'm sure the internet. I don't want to spoil anything. So again, if you think anything that you can think of that might help me through the series, please let me know. Obviously, with this being such a daunting series, I'm gonna have to throw some other books in there to read as well, just kind of standalones or palate cleansers, whatever you want to call them. So I will do that as well. I'm not strictly just going to be deep with this series only, but again, I'm going to do my best to try and wait till January 1st to start this. I really want to deep dive into it. And one other thing I will say, before I even start this series, and I'm going to kind of track this, because I want to go back in time and see this, and I'm sure, again, this is a series that I will go back again in years to come and probably reread if I enjoy it that much. Just kind of going off of the looking at the covers, I'm not going to lie, part 3, Memories of Ice, that's probably my favorite cover. I'm not going to lie. Just by looking at these blind, if I were looking at these, Memories of Ice is probably my favorite cover, just looking at it right now. Again, I'm going to read it in paperback version as well as Kindle. I'm going to take notes when I need to. I think that'll help on my Kindle. I'm not one, again, I don't want to say it's destroying. I like to keep my books in as pristine condition as possible. So I'm sure having it on my Kindle and highlighting it is going to help quite a bit and put notes in there. But again, anything you could think of that might help me or that helped you, please let me know. I mean, if you have any encouraging words, please share them. This is a daunting series to start, especially being my first big fantasy series that I'm really trying to deep dive into. Any words of advice or, you know, words of encouragement would be much appreciated. Like I said, I cannot wait to start this series. Again, I've tried before. I've read the first book. I remember the first time, like I said earlier, you know, the first time not really liking it, kind of putting it down. And then I read it all the way through a couple years ago, and I remember loving it. Um, and I've heard the series only gets better as it goes on. Again, I've tried not to get any spoilers for this series just because of how much there is to take in. Again, I cannot wait. Again, if you were on the fence, please join me. I would love to read this series with other people. I don't have a Discord or anything like that, but we can figure something out. I would love to talk about this series as we read through. I know that's a big thing that a lot of people have done, and it seems like that's helped them. So please, again, if you're on the fence, or even if you've read this, please, you know, I'd love to kind of bounce ideas off you. Just kind of say, hey, I think it's this. You know, at the end of the book, if it ends up I was wrong, go, well, you know, I was wrong, or I was close in this instance. Again, I cannot wait to start this massive. And again, I'm just gonna put this up here for perspective. Obviously, it's out of order, but look at that. Look at that tower of mass of pages. It's a little daunting just looking at it, but I cannot wait to get this series started. Again, I appreciate y'all stopping by. Again, if you are on the fence about starting the series, hop along with me. Please come read this series. Let's start a group of people that are going to undertake this journey, if you will, the Fellowship of Malazan, we'll call ourselves, or we can work on the name later. Again, I cannot wait to start this series. Again, I do appreciate every single one of y'all that have watched this video and any video that I may have put up or are going to put up. Again, I'm going to document myself. I'm going to try at the end of probably Sunday, record a video, upload it, and kind of let y'all know where I'm at with this series. Again, I have like 3 weeks to wait to start this series, and I am just jittery. I cannot wait to start this series. I really want to start it right now, but I'm trying to be patient. Again, hopefully in a couple, 2-3 weeks, we'll get some people that kind of jump on this. Again, if you've read this series, like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know, you know, what was your favorite book? Obviously, please don't spoil anything. But again, you know, any words of advice? I know I've said that probably 20 times in this video thus far, but again, I'm so excited that it's kind of evening up with how daunting this is. Try to read this series. Again, I do appreciate every single one of y'all that dropped by here at the Beats Motel today. Again, it is time to check out. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.